Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Wednesday, the 21st of July, 2021. The Joe and Joe Weather Show is brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini. And they're in Lindenhurst at 162 Ocean Avenue, right on Long Island in Suffolk County. Your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs. Whether it's to decorate your home come holiday time, or maybe you want to do this as part of your business or start it as a business or expand the one you already have. Give them a call, 631-957-5106, because now is the time. And the website is liholidaylighting.com. And for your hurricane emergency supplies, generators, pumps, whatever you need, Omni True Value Hardware has it at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. Also on Long Island in southwest Suffolk County, 631-756-1125. The phone number there, and omnitruevalue.com is the website. So a strange day, if you ask me, Joe. The thunderstorms developed. I think if you pulled up every short-range model, none of them had anything looking like how this all evolved in terms of where where the storms formed. They also formed kind of early. They were already running in around 12:30, 1 o'clock this afternoon. There was a renegade little line that formed in northern New Jersey. Then another area came down from Pennsylvania and clobbered central and south Jersey with some big storms. And then another line just formed, and I saved the radar from an hour or so ago that came down along the north shore of Long Island. Just very, very odd the way these storms form today.
As you would say, not a excuse me, not a drop, not a snowflake, not an ice pellet here in Putnam Valley. Even though we were in line for, we were in the severe thunderstorm watch. Actually, when I look at these watches that are put out by the Storm Prediction Center, I look more at the aviation watch box. That's the box that you and I used to sketch on our sectional maps years ago.
Right.
And now they actually have counties that are even outside of the box for some reason. And I'm saying to myself, gee, most of Putnam Valley, most of Putnam County is not in the aviation box. It seems that what they're saying is that a lot of the storms are going to be off to our south and to our east, but they had Putnam County in the watch area.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we didn't end up anything up here.
Yeah,
but Long Island did, and down toward New Jersey.
Yeah. If you read the watch from SPC, it's the part that says 25 miles either side of a line. From 6 miles and 2 blocks west northwest around the corner from the park, from this town, to 50 miles south southwest of, and then they do the same thing all over again, and then you draw a line between the 2 points, and you go, 60 miles on either side? I forget. It's been a long time since I drew a watch box. Yeah, I think now the way they do it is if the watch box touches the county, they include the county.
Right.
I don't know, it's just...
I guess it did. I guess it did. I mean, for example, right now, or maybe as of the last 15 minutes, on radar, a place, there is a cell of rather significant convection just to the south of Peekskill, New York. And that's just a stone's throw away from the Westchester Putnam line. So, all right. So it was close. It wasn't the fact that it was close. Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a couple of local radars, and this one, actually, the last frame on this was from 7 minutes before 7 o'clock. So we're at 7:35 and 22:53. So there's that final little line that it's almost like a line segment, really. A big cell there over New London, and another one that came ashore over along the North Shore east of Port Jefferson, and then there was another one just behind that, very, very small. And of course, all the big storms that were in central New Jersey, south of Route 78, those were pretty impressive, and there was a lead batch earlier today. So I'll freshen this up just to get the latest loop on this. And you can see the cells on Long Island, once they came ashore, they just pretty much disappeared. So, yeah, there's this little cell from Peekskill, Joe. It's very small, just south of Peekskill, moving southeast. But there's another one approaching Poughkeepsie right now, an isolated cell that's moving southeast, and yet another that's just over Albany. Let's go to the Fort Dix radar down in Philadelphia, and we'll see what's... Well, we all call it the Philadelphia radar, even though it's in Fort Dix, New Jersey. And here's the shot from there. Now, we have a couple of cells, one right over just to the southwest of Philadelphia, another one approaching northern Delaware here, just north of Wilmington, and that's moving southeast. You see the Jersey cells that are offshore. Why don't we put up the Boston radar? Let's go to BOX, B-O-X, and see what's happening there. And because they were also, it's one of those rare times, by the way, Joe, they had a watch up for cannot get, two X's, that's why. Boston, Providence, Hartford, New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington were all in the same watch box. You don't see that too often.
Right. It was a very skinny or narrow rectangle oriented northeast, southwest.
Yeah, some big cells forming now just over Boston.
When I first saw the actual watch, the counties in the watch area, I said, that's interesting that Long Island is in it, New York is in it, the lower Hudson Valley, Westchester is in it, I think, but places up to the north and west were not. And when I got a chance to see the full outline or the full watch area, I said, yeah, that's rather intriguing. It was not a big box as we saw the other day with thunderstorm activity, thunderstorm watch area. This was, again, a relatively narrow, rather skinny box that I guess was immediately ahead of this cold front that is now working its way into and through our area.
Yeah, it's pretty much done in south central PA and points to the west. The storms actually got started a little bit further east and a little sooner than a little earlier in the day than we normally would have. This is the radar out of it's LWX. Is that Wakefield? Do you remember?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. I think.
Yeah, Wakefield, Virginia, and there are some strong cells between Westminster and Baltimore up in Maryland, and those are moving southeastward. Some other active cells in southeastern Virginia, around Williamsburg, West Point, south and east of Richmond, over just to the north of Hampton, crossing over Chesapeake Bay to the southern part of the Delmarva Peninsula. Those are moving southeast, and you can see there's a working severe thunderstorm warning as of 7:39, and the 7:39 p.m. Eastern time, and there's a special marine warning that's up for the coastal waters there. On the wider view, again from earlier. Now this goes way back in terms of time. This was from earlier this afternoon. When you had that first band that came out of New Jersey, and you could see as it moved across western and central Long Island, it basically fell apart. And then there was a separate band that formed in southern Connecticut. This cell that went through Ocean County, this was the lead area, and that was a really impressive cell that developed there. That moved out to the east. And then the area you see in southeastern PA earlier this afternoon, this area blew up across New Jersey, south of Route 78, and the northern fringe of that wound up touching New York City and Long Island. But yeah, this was more south and east. And I go back to, this morning I looked at probably 5 different short-range models. The NAM 3-kilometer, Joe, had nothing. I mean, it just literally may have had a couple of isolated showers that you had to strain your eyes to find on the very, very tight view on tropical tidbits. The HRRR was not that much better. The FV3 was a bit better. It had most of the cells. It caught the cells that were in South Jersey in terms of the coverage, but it kind of went overboard on stuff further north, so that part of it didn't verify very well. And here's the current radar as of I just freshened it up. So this last frame here is at 7:35, and you can see the thunderstorms that are now well offshore, and that last area that's dying out. So now we can move on to lower humidity and sunshine or at least some sunshine over the next couple of days, and that's a good thing. While I got the radar up, the showers across the Gulf states today kind of diminished a bit. I haven't seen any showers today. I actually had sun for the first time in days for almost the whole day. So my temperatures actually got into the 80s today. But you see the showers and storms in around Atlanta and then down through southern Georgia, scattered around into Florida. Also seeing them down in South Texas, some heavy rain and some thunderstorms there. Scattered showers and storms up through northeast Texas and across the Gulf states, away from, well, just about everywhere in the Gulf states, seeing at least some scattered activity. Busy again in the southwest, the monsoon producing a lot of flash flood warnings in Arizona and southern Nevada. So they're getting more rain. Same for Utah, Colorado. I think, what is that, 25 that goes north-south in Colorado? I forget. Is it 25? Interstate 25?
I think it's 25. Yeah.
All the rain seems to be along and west of 25. There's actually some cells that have popped up on the east side of that. And you've got some strong thunderstorms up in western Montana. So kind of in summer mode here with whatever's going on, be it the monsoon in the southwest or what we're seeing in the eastern half of the U.S. Whoops, I don't know what that was.
Rick B on the chat board brings up an interesting point, Joe. He mentions that yesterday you or we were saying that the smoke effect might affect the storms, and I think the Moss was projecting what, high temperatures today in the middle 80s for many areas, and at many spots it was tough just to get above 80 degrees today. So, and not so much in terms of widespread severe storm activity. So maybe, just maybe, the dust or
more than what the models indicated, though.
Right.
And this goes back to what we've been saying about this. When it comes to these showers and thunderstorms, you know, it's almost a waste of time. You kind of just look at the models and say, okay, but you have to really wait for the radar to tell you what's going on, because the models aren't going to really help you. If you'd have used them today, you would have busted your forecast in a big way, because for the most part, you would have missed them all.
Right.
Okay. Meanwhile,
no thing.
Meanwhile, the smoke is getting pushed south. Further south, and I can actually see some partial clearing of skies just to the north, up around Lake Ontario, Lake Erie. There's some high clouds starting to stream in up there, but there is better air to the north, and that's where our air is coming from. So maybe we should get a break from the smoke, I would think, over the next couple of days.
We had an eerie sight last night. We had a waxing gibbous moon. That's a moon that's about 3/4 full, but it appeared a shade of red in the sky last night. A lot of people were making comments on at least my Facebook page about the red moon, and I stepped outside, and the moon was getting progressively redder the later on into the evening as the moon was dropping down into the west-southwestern sky and nearing the horizon. It didn't stay until it went all the way down, but I'm sure that when it got near to the horizon, it must have been about as red as you'll ever see the moon get, aside from when it goes through a total eclipse. And I'm sure that the sunrise this morning, if anybody was up early enough, the sunrise was probably quite red as well. So we had quite a show and everybody, Joe, the funny thing is, everybody last night looking at the moon used the same word, creepy. They said it was a creepy looking moon in the sky last night.
Well, I didn't look. I don't have a good view here. I got a lot. I'm in a mountain in a forest, so I can't see through. I can't see through the trees. I'm in a rainforest.
But you didn't. Here. But you really weren't in the smoke zone.
No, I was not in the smoke zone. I didn't have to worry about that.
I said, I know the old mariner's yarn, red sky at night, sailor's delight. And I wonder what sailors would say about a red smoky moon. And somebody on my Facebook page wrote back, late at night, if the moon is red, all the trees out west in the morning are dead.
Oh, God. How uplifting.
Yes.
How uplifting. Now, tonight's poll is, and it's very active, Joe. We've got 53 votes so far on the poll tonight. The question is, does the system that moves off the southeast coast develop into a tropical system over the weekend? And this is what the Hurricane Center mentioned in their discussion. So just to point out what we're talking about here, it's this whole area that's sitting down across the central and eastern Gulf states. There's a little rotation there. There's an little upper low and a trough that's going to be moving off the southeast coast. And you also have this sort of leftover frontal boundary that's going to be sitting out there. And sometimes, and we've seen that happen already this season, we could see we could see something tropical form if it sits there long enough. And we're going to take a closer look at that a little later. Meanwhile, Tom Contino says, Joe Rayo, could somebody please just admit that Jeff Bezos' rocket needlessly looks like a penis? Well, you know what? If you look at most rockets, that's what they look like. You know, does it matter if he? Who cares? I mean, honestly, so what?
Well,
I don't get that. Just the guy spent his money to send a rocket up and really accomplish something that I think is very important. And he's taken flack from all sorts of people who would never who don't have the ability to do what he did. I'm sorry. I just find it I just find all this let me bring us up on the screen. I find all this Jeff Bezos backlash going on just totally, I don't know, it's just uncalled for in my view.
Stephen Colbert, I think, made an allusion to that shape of the rocket last night on his show. And you know what? It wasn't until he made that allusion, and when I looked, that it suddenly came to mind that, hey, it is shaped that way. And until then, I didn't really note anything unusual about the rocket.
But all rockets are shaped that way. Your pen is shaped that way.
I understand that to a degree, but this particular rocket that Jeff Bezos has designed, the capsule kind of, how can I describe this? In an anatomical sense, it does resemble that particular part of the male.
Well, there's a lot of things that look like the male, you know what? Okay,
yes.
And the word is
yes.
penis. There's a lot of things that look like the penis, but you know, for God's sake, it's like 5-year-olds trying to make jokes out of it. You know, he. Look, it looks like a pee-pee. I mean, come on. Yeah. Instead of focusing on the fact that, you know, this was an incredible, in my view, this was an incredible accomplishment. You know, and watching it go, you know, take off and reach that height, and then to come back down and land the way it did, and they're all fixated on all this just absolute nonsense. You know, this is why Mr. Bezos built a $1 trillion company, and most people that work in the press did not. Okay, that's
well. I congratulate him that he did get to at least suborbital status. I'm very happy that woman who originally qualified to be a NASA astronaut as part of the Mercury missions back in the 60s. She's 82 years old now. And if for nothing else, I'm very happy that she finally got her chance to go, however brief time, up into space, because she deserved it.
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome. That really was awesome that she did get to go. Absolutely. All right. So let's get back to, what's going on weather-wise. Otherwise, Thomas Mozzarella is going to, have a mozzarella on us here. All right, let's back over to. Well, let's go look at the. There's not going to be. we're really kind of going into a bit of a quiet zone here over the next few days. There's not going to be a whole lot going on. Here's what's left of the risk area in the east, the slight risk, and of course that's going to be gone in an hour or so. You've got marginal risk in the southwest. You've got marginal risk up in northwestern Montana, just general thunderstorms. And over the next couple of days, we see a marginal risk for tomorrow over Montana and the western part of the Dakotas. And then as we move on to the weekend, and this is covering the period, this should be day 3. So I'm thinking this is Saturday into, no, this is Friday into Saturday. I'm losing, I'm lost track of days. It's actually only Wednesday. Marginal risk up in northern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. And then going forward through days 4 through 8, it pretty much is going to be either predictability too low for day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. So for all day 4 through 8, it's predictability too low. I thought they might have one day where they'd have probability too low, but they don't. And rainfall, I don't think most folks got much in the way of rain. And WPC over the next 7 days only has about a tenth to a quarter or a quarter to a half in terms of rainfall from central New England down through New Jersey. Picks up a little in eastern Virginia, eastern North Carolina, 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a quarter. Bit more down in Florida, in the southwest, and around the northern Great Lakes. Otherwise, everywhere else is just going to be not a whole heck of a lot. Got to put the maps back.
Right.
Hold on. Thanks. I got to put the maps back. There's WPC.
Yes, I was wondering where the maps went.
Yeah, you'll have to remind me because I have to switch us back on and then switch us back off. And sometimes I don't remember to switch us back off because I'm 62.
Mr. Fairchild would not be pleased.
Oh, he must be away. He's probably camping on some mountain someplace where they don't have internet service. By the way, David Fuller and Brandon Doherty both hitting super chat tonight. Thank you thank you to both of you for doing that. It is most appreciated. Thank you. So that's WPC's world. And on the surface map tonight, this was from earlier today with the front setting up to the west. We'll bring up the latest and take a look at what's happening. There's that nice high over north of Lake Superior. The fronts have pushed offshore. A few people commented to me that the temperatures took a nice drop and now the dew points are dropping and that nice dry high starts to build in. And except for the fact that the upper trough kind of hangs close by and there might be a couple of ripples moving along the way that produce some patchy clouds, I really don't see any big problems over the next couple of days.
No, I really don't. I think tomorrow we'll, whatever clouds we have tomorrow, at least in the immediate tri-state area, I think will probably be of the high variety, and they may linger into part of tomorrow evening. Then they'll go away, and then we have another nice day on Friday. Friday, a day where, again, we'll see some high cloudiness, but of no great concern. And of the upcoming weekend, Joe, I think by far and away the better of the 2 days will be Saturday, and there are some issues with Sunday. I'm thinking with that warm front coming in, we may get some light rain in here late Saturday night into early Sunday. Then I think the clouds may actually break, and we may actually get some sunshine for the midday and afternoons on Sunday, and then that may help to stir the atmosphere up enough to set the stage for maybe a late day rumble or two of thunder. That's for Sunday now. And then on Monday, another front approaching, maybe a few scattered showers and storms, and then hopefully we'll go back to a nice weather pattern again for Tuesday, Wednesday, and next Thursday too.
Okay, so let's talk about this system down in the eastern Gulf states. It's going to be moving off the southeast coast, and what I brought up here, this is for the first screen here. I'll just roll it back just a little bit, but you can actually see the upper trough on Friday night right in here, and that's going to be moving to the east. And what happens is, if you take a look, over time off the southeast coast, the upper air winds, and that's what the colors are there. We're looking at wind shear in the upper atmosphere. So when you're looking at the reddish areas, we're talking about upper air winds of 40 to 50 knots from the southwest off the coast. But the trough moves out and pulls away. So as we move through the weekend, you suddenly start to see the areas of blue appear. And that's all light upper air winds that take over off the southeast coast of the United States going into early next week. In fact, there is a little upper high that forms off the Carolinas there. So conditions actually are not unfavorable. It's not the best outflow pattern in the world that I've seen. It's not. They're calling it marginally conducive. I would agree with them. I think the upper air pattern there is marginally conducive for maybe some tropical cyclone formation. It's not impossible. We're seeing also, by the way, light upper air winds across much of the central and eastern Gulf of Mexico and into the northwest Caribbean. But we do have westerly shear across the eastern Caribbean and in through the tropical Atlantic east of the island. So that's probably not going to be too helpful for tropical waves that are coming out at the moment. But closer to west of 60 degrees west and into the central Gulf, conditions look, the upper air conditions don't look that unfavorable to me. And by the way, the poll tonight, again, we're at 53% of you say, the system will develop into a tropical system this weekend. And the answer, 53% of you say no, 47% of you say yes. I think it's going to take time. So maybe not this weekend, but perhaps maybe in the early part of next week, we might see something try to form in that particular area.
And the next name on the list for all of you who have not yet looked at your programs would be the F storm, and that would be Fred. Fred.
That
would be an
Fred.
Fred. I remember Frederick. Wouldn't that be the same? I guess not.
No, they all have their rules,
I remember Hurricane Frederick that was back in 1979, and now all of a sudden we have just plain Fred. So we'll see.
Yes. All right, I'll bring up the upper air here. And there's your trough in the east. The next one, early next week. I'm sorry, let me make sure I got the dates right. Yeah, that's for early next week. So these upper troughs coming down into the eastern United States are starting to look the same. Here's the one that we're dealing with now. And, of course, it's hanging around over the next couple of days. Now I'm moving it. This is for Thursday. So now I'm moving it into Friday and Saturday and beyond. So that trough kind of hangs around a bit. So the dry air, the low humidity, I think should hold on into Saturday before the humidity goes up on Sunday. Warm front Saturday night into Sunday morning with maybe a few showers or a thunderstorm with that, and then maybe a scattered shower or a thunderstorm late in the day Sunday. I think overall the weekend's going to be okay. Saturday's probably a little better than Sunday because the humidity is going to be lower. And then we've got another, still showing some troughing there in the eastern part of the United States. Now, later next week, you do have an upper high that's going to build over western Kentucky and Tennessee. We're kind of on the edge of this. I know a few people were looking at this and talking about maybe temperatures trying to make a run for 100 late next week. I don't know. I'm looking at you look at the 18Z GFS. I think we're places maybe to the south, maybe down in Kentucky and Ohio and Indiana could see mid to upper 90s because that's where the high is. I don't know that the ridge is pushed that far enough north to do that.
I'm trying to get my own viewpoint here of that, and I can see that a little bit. Well, yeah, it looks like by the time we get to, well, now this is I'm looking now at the 29th of July. That's a week from now.
Yeah,
it looks like some kind of a ridge. It looks like some kind of a ridge trying to build over Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and maybe expanding more to the east. And I would agree with you, Joe. I think if anybody's going to reach well into the 90s to near that triple-digit mark, it would be Missouri, maybe southern Illinois, extreme south in southern Indiana, Tennessee, part of western and central Kentucky. Yeah, that's where the heat I think is going to be occurring late next week. Thank goodness for that. For us, it's just going to be warm.
Yeah.
And if you get in your car and travel up the Northway on 97 to upstate New York or northern sections of Vermont, New Hampshire, into Maine, it looks like it's going to be rather pleasant for later next week as at least I see it from the upper airflow.
Yeah, I just pulled up the European just to see if how much of a difference there is. And, the ridge builds over eastern Colorado, Kansas, and starting to push into Missouri next Thursday. Yeah, it never comes up. I mean, we're just kind of on the edge here. We're on the edge of a west-northwest flow. I don't. I would like to if if the upper high was pushed more northeastward toward Ohio or western Pennsylvania, I would say sure. We probably have a chance to see see triple digits again. But I don't know. I think we're too close to the base of the westerlies there, so I'm not impressed at the moment. And that's off the 18Z run. I don't know what the 12Z run did because I didn't get a chance to look at it, but that's what the 18Z run is showing. Yeah. So there.
True. Yes.
All right, let's just run through this in terms of the surface. We're in one of these funny periods, folks. There's just not a whole lot happening. It's very hard to do a weather show where you're kind of focusing on all these small scale events with scattered thunderstorms. Not that I'm rooting for big events, I'm not, but it just makes it, it makes it a little more difficult. I'd rather have, and there's something going on in terms of a storm. It makes doing a show a whole lot easier than when there isn't. And right now, after these storms that we had today are gone, that's just not going to be doing very much. So just checking out the latest surface map here, and oh god, just trying to get this slow, the circle of death. Okay, so why don't we just roll over to Saturday? So Saturday, I was going for sunshine and arriving high clouds. There's your warm front that swings showers across the Great Lakes, and they come through here early Sunday morning. Joe, they move very quickly. It's like it's going to be a narrow band that goes through it, that overnight stuff. It's a warm front, and then it turns warm and humid with maybe another shower or thunderstorm late in the day on Sunday. And I think you're right. We'll probably see some sun developing in between. Saturday looks okay. Tomorrow and Friday look fine. And then after that, looks like going into next week, there's another push that comes in from the northwest, and that moves southeastward. Next week looks very quiet. Doesn't look like a whole lot of precip going on. Another front maybe toward the end of the week, and then another high that builds down Saturday, July 31st. There's a 1025 high over Lake Superior that builds down into the northeast and in the northern mid-Atlantic states. So that's it. I'm not impressed.
Nothing to show in terms of any kind of. Well, I said yesterday that the Climate Prediction Center had dry weather basically right straight on through into the early part of August. They also had above normal temperatures, but today they actually are suggesting as we move into August, Joe, I guess maybe because of that northwest flow, that parts of the northeast are going to be near or below normal in terms of temperature. That would be nice.
It would be
cooler airflow as we kick into April.
Izzy D hit super chat tonight. Thank you, Izzy. Nice to see you. Most generous of you. Joe and I appreciate it. And I got us back up full screen. I'm trying to think. There's nothing. There's not much else going on. I was watching Law and Order, which I haven't watched in a long time, and it was about a cross-dressing schizophrenic medical examiner who was carving up bodies of people while they still were alive, among other things. And it wound up being, it started at 6 p.m. and I thought it was just for the hour, but it wound up being a two-parter. So I missed out on the last half hour, so I don't know how it ends. But that was the most exciting part of my day. Oh, and then I went to the dog park with JJ twice, who, by the way, is asleep on his bed. Hold on, give him everybody.
Well, that's what you would expect. JJ is
He's out.
a faithful dog. He's out. You know,
He sleeps.
I caught a glimpse. I caught a glimpse. Somebody sent me on Facebook a video, or you find it, I guess, on YouTube, where a rescue dog. Hello, JJ. where they had a rescue dog that had just been taken and put in the back seat of the car, and he was like, he had such a sad face, and he was like quavering, and then all of a sudden he sees his new master in the back seat, obviously, and he moves his paw over to him, and it was like he almost felt like crying at the end of the video. A rescue dog that has indeed been rescued. I don't know if that's the way it was with you and JJ when you first locked eyes with each other, but it was nice.
Well, when the day I went to the shelter to get a dog, I was actually on my way there to get a different dog than the one I got, and in the days, because I had gone there, I saw a couple of dogs that looked promising, and then I went to a few other shelters down in Atlanta where it was sad. I mean, it was all pit bulls, and they all had all sorts of emotional issues. They were abandoned. I'm guessing a lot of them were being used as fighting dogs, and then when they outlived their usefulness, they just chuck them out in the streets. We could have a conversation about the kind of human beings that do stuff like that, and you'd be surprised what some people do to have done. Some of the animals I've talked to, folks with dogs that have rescues, and the kinds of things that their dogs went through. It's just appalling to me that people would do that. But anyway, just to finish up my story, so I was actually on my way there for a different dog, and I wasn't really overly excited, but I wanted to get a dog. And anyhow, JJ they just got him over the weekend, and they brought him in. And the minute I kept saying to myself as I was doing the dog search, am I going to? A few people said to me, "You'll know when you see the dog. You'll know when you see the dog." And I did, that wasn't feeling that. But then when they brought JJ in and I saw him and he saw me, I said, "That's my dog. That's the one." I knew when I saw him that he was going to be the dog, and he came right to me. He was very loving, and he's been. He's been such a joy. I mean, he really is. If I could just get him to bark a little bit less, just a little less, especially when he's in the car, in the truck.
Well,
he's already.
He hasn't barked. He hasn't barked very much during our show.
He never barks during the show.
So
he sleeps during the show.
Yeah.
The chairman, Scott.
So when he starts barking.
I'm sorry. The chairman.
When he starts barking, just simply play a replay of one of our shows.
Yeah, and they'll knock him out. The chairman, Scott Briller, hitting super chat. Thank you, Scott. Hope everything is going well. Your mom feeling better, and he's making his mother dinner, which is a good thing, so she can get her strength. And I
wanted to address something that Tim Veltman is asking the two of us.
Yes.
He says, "I'm hearing rumblings of the upper air setting up at the 500 millibar level in a way next week to possibly kick off a frequent derecho season. Any thoughts?" And we just talked about the fact that it doesn't look very exciting for the upcoming week or next couple of weeks. So I'm not sure if derechos are kind of an extreme situation.
You do have. I mean, I don't think. That warm front that moves across Saturday night. I mean, I think there might be a couple of thunderstorms in there, but I don't know that I would describe that as a derecho, a potential. I don't know. Honestly, Tim, I have to give it a deeper look. I was so focused on a lot of times when we have active weather going on during the day, I'm so focused on that I don't really spend as much time in terms of looking out in the longer range. So I don't know. I can't really give you a good, honest answer to your question because I really didn't give it a good look in terms of what the models were showing.
I thought that warm front. I thought that as it approaches our area, that our atmosphere initially will be too stable to support any thunder. I was thinking more like a light rain Saturday night,
Oh, it
late
could be.
or early Sunday, and then later, after the sun presumably pops out, and it will be a more humid air mass, that maybe the atmosphere will be able to build on that and possibly set off a few of those pop-up thunderstorms later in the day on Sunday. And in between, like I said, a little bit of sunshine, some humid conditions. But I think the actual approach of that warm front, not a derecho type
Yeah, I
scenario,
don't think so.
more of just some light rain or
Yeah.
whatever.
I still think I think there's a chance that there could be a thunderstorm with the warm front as it goes by. I'm going to go down that particular road. All right, tonight's Briller Jeopardy. The theme tonight, Joe, is lighthouses.
Oh no!
Okay.
I'm going to have to name lighthouses.
I don't know. I'm looking at the questions right now. So, what state has the most lighthouses?
Okay. I'm going to say it's a New England state. For whatever reason, I don't know why I'm thinking this. It's the smallest state in the Union, Rhode Island, but I'm going to say Massachusetts.
And if you say Massachusetts, you would have an incorrect answer. Okay. Now, let me help you.
Okay.
Let me help you with this. Okay. Because there is a tendency to want to focus on ocean shorelines. Okay. But
right.
Visualize the United States and think about a particular state that is that's not on an ocean, but has quite a bit of coastline.
Well, now we're making the assumption that what we're talking about might be down along the Gulf coastal United States.
Or no, not necessarily.
Or along the Mississippi River, or that?
No, not the Mississippi
River. Or maybe the Great. Or the Great Lakes. Great Lakes.
Now visualize the Great Lakes, Joe, and visualize a state that actually has is on two lakes. Part of this.
Well, that would be Michigan.
Michigan, yes, Michigan,
right?
Yes, Michigan is the correct answer. Yes, it's
the
Michigan.
LP and the UP.
Yes. Now, within 10, okay, within 10, how many lighthouses does Michigan have?
Well, or as one of our former presidents would say, I would. How many lighthouses?
There's this one.
How many?
And this one.
And that one.
And that great big one over there. And this teeny tiny one here.
One over there. I don't know. I'll say it's either some ridiculously low number or ridiculously high number. I'll say 54.
129.
129.
Right. Now, how many states have lighthouses?
How many states have lighthouses?
Right. And
states that have coastline.
Within 5, how many states have lighthouses?
Oh, God. 1, 2, and then right along the Gulf Coast, they're going to. I don't know. I'll say 32.
Well, you would need it to be within 5, and you just nailed it at 5. 37. 37. Wow. Okay, question 4.
Because I wasn't only thinking about the ocean shore areas, but also thinking about the Gulf Coast, thinking about the Great Lakes, also thinking about places that are along, let's say, major rivers. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
What is the tallest lighthouse in America?
well, I'm not going to say the Great Lighthouse of Alexandria because that doesn't exist anymore. Um, the tallest. I'm going to say it's somewhere. This one I'm going to say is somewhere in New England, maybe along the coast of Maine. I, do I have to list the state or do I have to list how high it is?
You just have to name the lighthouse.
Name the lighthouse.
Name the lighthouse. You know what? I'll make
There
it
aren't too
easy.
many
I'll make it easy for you because unless you're an expert at lighthouses or you're into lighthouses, you're not going to know the names of many lighthouses. So why don't you just give me the cape that this lighthouse is on?
Well, like I said, I think it could be. I think it could be a New England lighthouse. Where could it be? I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking of? It's a very, very weird. There was a there was a movie, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Yes.
and in that movie, which by the way had Cecil Calloway, one of the great character actors, and I think. And this monster was coming down from the polar regions, and I think it knocked down a giant lighthouse in Maine or whatever. But then again, in thinking about this now, along the Mid-Atlantic coast, we have the Virginia Capes, we have Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, which I'm sure must have a lighthouse of significance there. And that part juts out into the ocean.
I've actually been to that lighthouse.
Must be a real nice one.
It's
only lighthouse I've ever visited is Montauk.
Yeah, no, it's a nice it's nicer than Montauk.
All right, so I'm going to say that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Hatteras, Cape Hatteras, North Carolina.
And is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
And you would have been correct. It's Cape Hatteras. Is the tallest lighthouse in America.
How tall is it?
He doesn't say.
Did he say? He didn't say.
He doesn't say. Okay, now the final question is: how many lighthouses are in the People's Republic of the State of New Jersey?
Oh, I think there's a fair. I think it'd probably be a fair number. I'm sure there's one. Is there one at Cape May? I'm sure there must be one at Cape May, and must be one at Sandy Hook, and maybe a couple along the
Barnegat,
Ocean County, Barnegat Light. That's right. Yeah. All right. I'll say 12.
You needed to be within 3. Unfortunately, for you to have the correct answer here, you would have needed to be within 6, because the answer is 18.
18. All right. I was thinking that Scott was going to mention something about the Little Red Lighthouse, which is right underneath the one of the towers of the George Washington Bridge.
Oh,
I'm sure you've seen that
I've
one
seen
too.
that one. Yeah. That wasn't on the list. So that's it tonight as far as lighthouses are concerned on tonight's Les Jeopardy de Brillard.
And now you're going to tell everybody that this is the last time you and I are going to speak to each other
ever again. Yes, that we'll be back. So I unless something monumental happens, and being that it really is kind of quiet, and being that you and I don't really take time off once hurricanes get underway, nor do we take time off during the winter months, that we are going to take a little break here, show-wise, and we will be back next Monday. Does that sound okay with with Joe? Yeah, because I think we could. Let's just You've got your reception.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the delivery of 2 blades for my mower, my tractor mower, and I wanted that delivery yesterday, and it didn't happen. And it didn't happen today, and it looks like it's not going to happen until tomorrow or Friday. My grass is so long. Do you have that problem where you are with long grass, Joe? There's a grass. I mean, does the grass really grow fast where you are down
Yeah, but
in Georgia?
I don't cut it. It doesn't get cut. It's all wild stuff here. I live in I'm in a forest, and
Okay.
my grass, the grass has grown so high. It's wild grass. A lot of it now is brown. The deer come in at night and sleep in it. The rabbits hide in it, and I don't cut it, and it's wonderful.
Okay. Well, if you let's just say if you were married to Renata,
Oh,
that wouldn't be the story.
well, if if
Renata,
if 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 she were
Renata would demand you. She would demand that you'd go out there.
no, actually,
No, the grass is so long.
yeah,
No, she
no,
would be out there
no.
with her weed whacker.
First of all, it's not even real. It's all wild grass. It's not like lawn grass. It's wild grass. And second of all,
Well,
the there's a lot of different Georgia wildflowers that grow naturally here that are protected. So I can't cut it.
okay.
I would be thrown into
Yeah, that's gonna.
I would be thrown into solitary confinement for an unspecified amount of time.
In parts of where I live, Putnam Valley, you cannot cut various trees down or bushes. You can't get rid of. It's called conservation easement. You have to let nature take its course. So we have in some parts of our property. But on the other hand, I do have a lot of lawn, but it looks like mostly clover and crabgrass. But I still have to cut it.
Yeah, no,
So,
I don't have a lawn, so I don't have anything resembling
yeah.
a lawn. It's all wild stuff, and I love every minute of it. I don't have a sprinkler system.
And Tom,
Don't need one. Don't need a landscaper. Don't need a lawnmower. It just grows, and then in the fall, it'll die, and the deer will have something to eat going into the fall season.
and Tom Contino, no, I have not ate at the Lighthouse Diner in Wantagh. I did live not too far from that area. I lived in Levittown for about 13 or 15 years or whatever, but I didn't have the privilege and the pleasure to eat at the Lighthouse Diner. I did eat at a few diners in and around the vicinity, but not at the Lighthouse Diner. But I'm sure that if I did go, or if I ever go, there's probably one big giant lighthouse on top of the diner, which is why they probably call it the Lighthouse Diner, right? I
Yeah,
guess so.
and Christina Petey is asking if I have it's a log. I actually I have this is a cabin. It's considered a cabin, but it's not a log cabin. Actually, the cabins here are structurally they are built quite well. I've got concrete on the inside supports, and my walls are very very thick. I have a steel roof. So these cabins here are built quite well, and I like log cabins. By the way, I actually was considering one at one point. I find them to be quite beautiful, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. So anyway, Joe and I will be off until next Monday. I will be doing Weather in 5 early on in the day. Over the next several days, but no live show until next Monday night at 7:30 Eastern Time.
And Keith James II, or Keith James II, says no show till Monday. Has Ruben Fairchild been have approved this time off? Has he been appraised of this?
He's mysteriously
No,
he's
he hasn't.
he's mysteriously disappeared. So the Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 6317-561-125 for the best prices in town. OmniTrueValue.com. And for those of you thinking about decorating for Christmas, or maybe you want to be a decorator of somebody else's house for Christmas, wholesale holiday lighting by Giannini at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, 631-957-5106. Give them a call because now is the time that you want to set this stuff up. And their website is liholidaylighting.com. So, Mr. Ray, have fun on Sunday.
Yes, and have fun this whole few days coming up.
Yes, I assume that you're going to have Horty Orvies. So make sure you get
We'll have hors d'oeuvres.
hors d'oeuvres. I call them Horty Orvies. So yes, enjoy your time at your son's reception and your daughter-in-law's reception. Congratulations. Make sure that there are no conversations with Agnes's husband or whoever Agnes is going to be marrying. From the
No, I don't want to
honeymooners.
get thrown off of. I don't want to get thrown off of Facebook
Oh yeah, no, we
because if if you say that one line that Agnes says, and immediately, as Dennis Cassia can attest to, he mentioned that on a honeymooners Facebook page, that line, and he got thrown in Facebook jail, I think, for a few days. So cannot mention that. But if you're a honeymooners fan, you know what I'm referring
right.
to.
Tom Contino, I'm on well water. Since you asked the question, I have well water. I have well water, and my water is triple filtered, by the way. So in case that would be the next logical question. Horty Orvies. All right, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Monday. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. And say lovey. Nighty-night.
Cessla Gary.
Cessla Gary. Good night.
Yes.